Day 23, living in my car. Let's go to work. Big day today. I don't like wearing scrubs. I only have one pair of scrubs, realistically. I have the option between business casual and medical scrubs. Today we're gonna be in the emergency department and they are very strict on scrubs. That's what I was told. So here we are, looking skeezy. Ooh, man. Everything I need to get ready at work is in here. So I think I'm ready to rock out. Can't forget about the hair. I'm not gonna lie, I'm too tired to shower. I'm just about to fold my clothes that I washed yesterday, call it a night, shower before work tomorrow, organize it to the best of my ability. Day 20.
Today is the deadline for me to have my rent in by 5 o'clock without a 3.
The caption says, beat homelessness. Minimum wage could not send me back. Or excuse me, minimum wage could send me back, not asking for money.
3-day pay or quit notice or a $75 late fee. For whatever reason, if that 3-day notice expires and I'm placed on the eviction list, I will remain on that list. They will now refuse my rent. Unfortunately, I went through a job loss that I have been trying to dig my way back up. I haven't been able to catch up. I was left without income for several months, and it's not an excuse. It's a fact. I make $233 less weekly from my last position than what I make now. I have nothing left over to even buy groceries. Gas is $6+. I'm not living above my means.
Dang, she said her work commute is 1 hour. Listen, I understand she lost her job and she experienced something that I don't see too often. And what I'm referring to is typically from my experience, and maybe I'm just speaking for myself and the people that I'm around, but typically from my experience, when you lose a job, for some reason, in a weird way, the next job that you get is always a step up. That's from the experience that I've seen. Very anecdotal. You all let me know if that's your experience as well. But usually you lose a job and then the next job you get, it just somehow just works out to be a better job in some way. Usually for sure it's going to be a little bit more money, but also just a better job all around. And you're glad, right? You're glad that you moved on to the next thing. She lost her job and ended up taking a huge pay cut that still has implications on her not necessarily being able to survive as well as she was before. And so with the new job, I agree. Take whatever you can get some money coming in, but she probably needs to continue looking for something else while she has this job. And don't get too comfortable at this job. It looks like kind of a comfortable job, I'm not going to lie, from what I've seen and from what I see off on the side here. But you need to keep looking for something better. There's something better out there. You just got to find it. And you only need one. You only need one. So you just got to keep looking. Y'all, before we get back into it, if you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. Only takes a second, and it actually helps out more than you know. And it's only just a click, really just a click. So if you're here anyway, you might as well click that like button. And also if you can hype the video as well.
buy groceries. Gas is $6+. I'm not living above my means because I look like what the hell I'm going through. I'm going to keep my head up high, trusting and believing in God, keeping my faith because that is my currency and it has got. What's up, Earth Angel? It's your girl.
Whoa, hold on now. Hold on now. Well, first off, she said, "What's up, Earth Angels?" Okay. It says, "I'm a homeless single mom and I refuse to work a 9 to 5." I'm a homeless single mom and I refuse to work a 9 to 5. Then she said, "Earth Angel." So that already sounds a little free spirited. I don't know if you get to have these free spirited philosophies, but then choose to be a single mom because you got to be practical. Now, just say, oh, her description says, "Just say you're afraid of running away. LOL, it's okay. I'll go first." So I don't know what that means, but let's find out.
Visionary, the revolutionary. Unpopular opinion: 9 to 5s are modern day slavery, and I do not plan to return. Now, a lot of people will probably look at my situation and say, well, you don't really got room to not work a 9 to 5. Like, you living
Whoa,
in a shelter, like, you're.
whoa. Her caption, y'all probably can't see it. It says, AKA, you're not scared of massa punishment for being disobedient. AKA, you're not scared of massa punishment for being disobedient. So she's basically saying, I'm not afraid of massa's punishment, which is really just going to have direct impact on my life and my quality of life, but also my child's life, because remember, she's a single mother. And now I guess that's what she means when she says, just say you're afraid of running away. LOL, it's okay. Basically, she's looking at it like she's going to escape the job slave plantation by any means, and anybody else that does not agree or does not align with, basically, I'm not going to work and stand in solidarity with that. Basically, that means that you're afraid of running away, apparently.
In my situation and say, well, you don't really got room to not work a 9 to 5. Like, you're living in a shelter, like, you're
She's
a
living
single
in a
mom,
shelter.
you have to work. But the reality is, I don't have to do anything. Because in reality, food is free. In reality, water is free. In reality, a good time is free. In reality, safety is free. And then there's going to be people who might say, what reality are you living in? You sound delusional. I am. You have to be delusional in order to leave the matrix.
Hold on.
Delusional in order to leave.
Her caption, she basically put here, all free people sound crazy to those who have never known freedom. She's living in a homeless shelter with her child. And she wants to have this philosophy. She's using the Most High, but listen, y'all go look it up on your own about how the Most High feels about work and toil. Now, irregardless, she definitely fell in line. She didn't just go in the homeless shelter and just say, where's my accommodations? Make it happen. No. She went in there. She put pen to paper. She wrote down who she was. She did their application process the way that it's supposed to. And she was able to get that room and board for her and her child. Why didn't you just go in there and just demand it or take it? Since you're entitled to it. Ma'am, at the end of the day, there was somebody who was working at that shelter that was able to screen your application and get you through the door. They contributed and they actually contributed directly to you, which was of benefit to you and of help to you, and ultimately saved you from having to fend outside for the elements with your child. And then because of that, you have comfort, and you're comfortable enough to then come on TikTok acting like you just did it for yourself. The point I'm making is that we all have to work together. If something happens with your child and your child has a medical emergency, you would like to know that there's somebody who contributed their life to learn to be able to actually help your child in that time of need, and to be able to make sure that your child's able to recover properly, et cetera, et cetera. That shirt on your back, those earphones in your ear. Somebody contributed for you to be able to have them earphones in your ear and be able to listen to whatever it is that you listen to. Ma'am, just say you don't want to contribute to society like the rest of us. We can all make contributions, and just be blessed that for the contributions that we can do for each other to make sure that this thing keeps spinning, just feel blessed at the fact that we can be compensated for it as well. You have to look at it like that, in my opinion. You're fortunate to be able to be compensated for the contribution that you offer to the rest of the world, so that we can all make sure that this thing runs how it's supposed to.
I am. You have to be delusional in order to leave the matrix. You have to, textbook definition, be insane to lead a revolution. I don't call myself a revolutionary for no reason. Every revolution comes with risk. We would probably still be in shackles had Harriet Tubman never took the risk of dying. You literally have to be willing to obtain the freedom you deserve or die trying. And if that's
Ain't that crazy, man? So you you deciding you're gonna be a revolutionary as a single mother. This is what we're doing. You're not even focused on your child. You're willing to die for for this foolishness that you're talking about, and you're a single mother. So if you do pass on in this process, then what? Who takes care of your child? Because clearly there's no one helping you right now. Because if there were, then you wouldn't be in a shelter. Ma'am, if you wanted to do all this, if you had all these ambitious endeavors that you wanted to go on, and you wanted to go on this conquest for your beliefs and all that good stuff, that's totally fine. But then why did you have a child? Why did you decide to have a child, and you're about to drag your child along this path of idiocy, ma'am? Why do we do that? That's what I don't understand. You could have done bad all by yourself. But now you about to be dragging along this child from shelter to shelter, from bridge to bridge. For what? Because you don't want to just get practical and do what you have to do.
Hey y'all, right now, this is my reality.
Whoa.
I'm a young woman.
It says homeless, but still building my business from the ground up. They just think the business is just going to happen like the first attempt is just going to materialize. Let's see. Let's see.
I'm a young woman currently homeless, living out of my car, but I'm still choosing not to give up on myself. This isn't where I want to be, but it's where I am while I'm trying to build something bigger. I started my business because I needed a way out, not just for money, but for freedom.
For
Some
freedom.
days are harder than others. There are moments I feel overwhelmed, unsure, and tired. But even in those moments, I remind myself why I started. I don't have stability right now, but I do have ambition. I do have goals, and I do have work to do. So I use what I have: my phone, my time, my mind, and my story. I keep building, even when it doesn't feel like it's enough. One day, I want to look back at this and realize it was the beginning of everything changing for me. Until then, I am going to document this process. This is my life right now, but it won't always be. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing,
What is that?
reposting. It
That's what I'm trying to understand. What type of business is this? Hold on. I think she shows it here.
Hey y'all, not too long ago, I didn't think my
It says homeless but still shipping orders. What type of business is this?
Hey y'all, I'm not even gonna lie. Life been crazy lately. I'm homeless right now, but I have faith of a mustard seed and I'm not giving up. I started my own weight gain supplement business. Summer is coming up and I know the girls want to get thick without going under the
She started a weight gain supplement business. A weight gain supplement business. A weight gain supplement business. You all's, I understand a lot of these dudes out here, boy, you could look like anything as long as you got some ass. They just care about ass. If they could just kiss the ass goodnight and have the ass at the top of the bed on the pillow, they would. And so I get that's messed up a lot of y'all head. But to be taking supplements to get more obese, she created a weight gain supplement business. As well as, ma'am, do you have your LLC? Do you have your LLC? She probably does. She gonna need it. Because let me tell you something. What did you create these supplements? See, a lot of people have LLCs for stuff they don't need an LLC for at all, in my opinion. It's dumb things that you don't really need an LLC. They don't even they just assume you have a business, so you need a LLC. LLC stands for limited liability company, which means truly what the nature of an LLC is for is really for liability purposes and to be able to separate your personal assets from your business. Truly. So for example, you have a lot of like young go-getter kids out here who start online businesses and all this type of stuff. But they're still kids. They might be in middle school, high school. They're just very driven. And because this is the technology age and you can learn anything online, they actually start bringing in money. Well, guess what? It will be wise for their parents to start an LLC for whatever their kids are doing. Because if their kids create something that they could then be liable for, since they're still kids, that would, if they don't separate things, then if somebody sues, they can come for their parents' house or their cars and all this type of thing if they sue. So, especially depending on the nature of business that you have, that can determine whether or not you really should get a LLC. And I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. This is not financial advice, even though I'm really talking about business. But when we talk about you're actually creating something that people put in their body and can have effects, and especially if it's something that you've actually created yourself, even if you didn't create it, even if you have some distribution from somewhere, you don't know what could happen in their warehouse, what type of mix-ups could happen, anything. because you're not there to actually make sure that things are done right. So you definitely need a LLC, even though she clearly doesn't have any assets in her name or anything. But still, you definitely need an, in my opinion, an LLC. You creating a weight gain supplement. That just sounds crazy. What if people are gaining weight but now they're starting to have, you know, all the health problems associated typically when people gain weight, right? So interesting. I'm sure I don't know if there's a market for this. Is there a market? Like, I guess there has to be. It's clearly a pain point, but that's interesting.
Out of all the homeless people in the United States, about 40 to 60% of them have a job. They're still homeless, by the way. So we're also, and I'm gonna be non-biased. There's people that don't live in an apartment complex, a house, a townhome, whatever. They are in an RV, tent, car. There are people that do that. That technically counts as homeless. There are people that have jobs that choose to do those things so they can save money because it's just too hard to hold down an apartment sometimes. It's just too hard to hold down a house sometimes. I'm not speaking from that perspective. I'm speaking.
Whatever that sound is in the background is very distracting. So we're gonna move on.
Y'all, so now that I finally put my bed inside my bed
Her caption says, "How I was making 20K a month and was homeless."
frame, I could tell y'all the story time about how I make damn near $20,000 a month, and when I got to Atlanta, I was homeless. Just in case a bitch want to make it seem like I capped, this is in the last 4 weeks. I made $14,000, and this is only the money from digital marketing. This not even including the money I make from TikTok, the money I make from anything else that I do. This literally only digital marketing. And the premise of this video is that credit is very important. If you got fucked up credit, bitch, it's no point in having money if you don't have good credit. I'ma just say that. Yeah, bitches be like, I don't need credit. I could pay cash, but you can't cash your way into everything in life. Like, you might think you can, but you can't. So if you got anything on your credit that you need gone, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so in the summertime, my credit was in the 500s because
That's a great point. And this is a point that I was probably going to make in this video at some point. But it's just the fact that you probably see a lot of people who are homeless, but who really shouldn't be on paper and financially, because it doesn't just have to come down to, oh, the economy's wrecked and people just aren't making enough money. It also can come down to your reputation as well. Your reputation, like she just said, your credit. There's a lot of places that won't rent to you if you have poor credit history or you have collections on your credit report, especially from other apartments. And speaking of other apartments, obviously what we know is if you have an eviction, there's some people out here who had the money, who were living in apartments or living in a home, renting a home, and they had the money, but they just decided they was going to pull it anyway. And they was just going to keep their money and slight somebody. And so then they find out they played a stupid game, they won a stupid prize, and they get that eviction on their record. And then they're telling people like, I got the money. They might even, I mean, she said she makes 20K a month. She could, in most cases, pay up her entire rent the year in advance. But just because people see that eviction, they're going to be like, no, we can't accept you. It's just our policy. It's just a non-starter. As well as, you could have violent felonies on your record, and that could stop you from being able to get a home. It's all type of other things that can contribute to making it hard for you and ultimately for you being homeless, and basically put you in a position where now you don't have a choice but to buy a house. So you can comfortably afford an apartment, but can you buy a house though? And it's some people in that situation, and it's because of their reputation.
you might think you can, but you can't. So if you got anything on your credit that you need gone,
We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so in the summertime, my credit was in the 500s because I co-signed something for somebody and they basically fucked over it. So when I decided to go back to school, it was damn near the last minute. Like probably after my birthday is July 23rd. I probably decided to go back to school and school was started in 3 weeks. Mind you, I had already came back up to Detroit, so all my stuff was in Detroit. So cool. I find me a little low-key apartment. It's not some shit that I would really live in, but for the time being, because I had to start school so soon, I'm like, I'm gonna just move here and I'm gonna get a month-to-month lease. And then once I get everything settled with school and stuff, I'm gonna start looking for the apartment that I really want. Okay, I come down to school, I get into the apartment, I realize that the apartment has mold literally within the first week of living there. Go out of there. And when I say homeless, I don't mean like I was living on the street or anything, but I was.
Okay. I think we kind of understand it. She brought up a good point in there that I'm going to address, but let's get into something else.
Houseless people just need to work. 40 to 60% of people experiencing houselessness are employed full-time or part-time. In case you forgot, the federal minimum wage is $7.25. They are working. Houseless people just need to work.
Real quick, let's address what that woman just said. So in her case, she co-signed up for somebody, and that's how she ended up messing up her reputation. Indirectly, someone else messed up her reputation that she helped out and took a chance for. And see, can happen too. That's still a decision. Whoever it is that you decide to associate yourself with, as well as put yourself out there for, put yourself on the line for, you got to understand what you're doing and who you're doing it for. Now, somebody who's supposed to be close to you, you put yourself out there to help them, which if they needed you to put yourself out there to help them and put your reputation on the line, it probably means that they've already damaged their reputation, which could be an indicator that if they don't care about their reputation, they probably don't care about yours. And so, but she did it, and now she had to face the consequences. And obviously, she's somebody who's productive and who does things the right way. And this is another thing you got to look out for. And it was still her decision. It's still on her. But who you're in association with can be very important. Sometimes you just got to tell people no. And you just got to say the truth to them and lay it out plainly. Why in the world would I co-sign for you after you already messed your own self up? You don't even care about your own reputation. So I know you don't care about mine. And sometimes people will try to shame you. They'll try to act like, nah, it's not like that. Why would I do that for you? And it's like, sometimes you got to be like, no. And you just got to be like, and if you ask me again, we're not friends anymore because I said no. It's just that simple. But ideally, you wouldn't even want to really have people in your life that would ask such crazy things of you like that, especially for free. Okay, you need the cosign so bad. Give me $5,000 then. Give me $5,000. Pay me $5,000 and I'll give you the cosign. And you can look at that as a little deposit. If they ever do try to slice you, you can at least put that towards whatever so that it doesn't damage your reputation. Or I guess you could just let it go through and at least you get $5,000 for free.
I was homeless for 2 months. 2 months. It's very easy to get out of. I got a job, saved up for 2 months, bam, out. I'm happy for you, man. You successfully got out of homelessness. You were in it for 2 months and not for an extended period of time. That's good for you. But my question to you is, what about everyone else? First thing you said is I was homeless and you were able to get out of it. What about all the other homeless people who can't? A lot of homeless people have talked to me and said that they try to get a job, but they need a permanent residence in order to apply for the job and fill out their W-2 forms. And so the jobs denied them and accepted people who do have homes. So what job specifically are we referring to? I'm curious. So I can let other homeless people know so, they can easily go to this one. Also, where did you shower for your job interview? Because after not showering or bathing for 2 months and you went into a job interview, you must have smelled horrible. So I'm just wondering. I'm curious. So, let me know so we can inform the other homeless people in the community. Because this sounds fantastic to me. I was homeless for 2 months. 2 months.
Well, yeah. Everybody's situation is different. There are some non-starters. There are some things that are they're just permanent. And not fully permanent, but they're ultimately going to take some time. We've already kind of listed them out: credit, evictions on your record, that type of thing. So everyone's situation is different. And just how you're positioned in life, how you're positioned. There's some people who are positioned well. Maybe you're just single, you're by yourself. And so I would say that's an easy position to be able to work out of homelessness if you don't have those things that I mentioned on your record. But you got some people, they're homeless and they've got a bunch of kids. And so now that's going to be a little bit more difficult because you've got kids that you got to take care of. They got mouths to feed. They are expenses at the end of the day. And it's just draining. You already have obligations as soon as you wake up in the morning. You got kids. They're going to require some energy. They're going to require some attention. And especially if you choose to do it alone, there's all type of scenarios that could happen. So, yeah, I think everyone's path isn't the same. You just try to do the best that you can. I think we're just seeing so many cases of this now for so many reasons. And there are certain people who they were dependent on whatever it was. And so they made certain decisions. But the best thing that we can do is just tell the people moving forward, do not make decisions that you cannot carry on your own shoulders comfortably. And also when you have opportunities to try to get ahead in life, don't just look at it as permanent and as if it's going to always be there. Be actually keeping something for yourself so that you can actually be setting yourself up on a stable foundation so that when the uncertainties of life do come through your way, you can be somewhat prepared for it. And you don't have to go straight into emergency panic mode and survival mode. That's the best advice I can give about that. But y'all, we'll leave it there for today. If you could like the video, I greatly appreciate it. It only takes a second and it actually helps out more than you know. And also, if you could hype the video, hype is a new feature that YouTube offers where it helps smaller content creators like myself. And basically, when you hype, it actually pushes us to the extent that it pushes the larger content creators. So you just press the hype button and it shows the points. And since I am a smaller creator, a smaller channel, we actually get more points per hype. And hype was designed for smaller channels, so that's why. But if you come across a video and you don't see the hype button, then it's probably been over 7 days. And hype usually vanishes after 7 days. So it's usually best practice if you want to hype to just go ahead and hype while the iron is hot on a newer video. And also if you want to become a member of the channel as well, join buttons on the video. And what becoming a member of the DXU family will come with is you will get badges next to your comments where it shows people that you are a member whenever you leave a comment, as well as you will get early access to content and also exclusive content that's not available for everyone else on YouTube. So again, if you want to become a member, join buttons on the video. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.